That is a 9, so X out the 9.
You've got to help children get a good start. If they don't get it 0 to 3 to 4 to 5, you will never be the kind of state, to be the kind of country you want to be and you need to be.
Revitalizing early education and making strategic investments in education more broadly can be a real key to restoring the American dream.
This is America's pathway to international success in the future in the digital age. If we don't do this job properly, we're going to be behind the rest of the world.
At the Department of Commerce here in Alabama, the challenge for us is a developing workforce shortage as we move through time. Children who have the benefit of quality pre-K education are better prepared for future education. Now is the time to have a very strong, successful launch and expansion of early childhood education.
We have districts and states and towns and communities looking to expand pre-K offerings. We have a science of early learning and teaching. There's a demand today that is just unprecedented.
What I think is happening to a lesser degree is a focus on improving quality. So solving the problem of how do we improve quality as we increase access.
The American dream that we all believe in. All kids in America get the same opportunity. The reality is we don't really provide equal opportunity for kids, and it's that unequal opportunity that leads to the big disparities we see in kids' outcomes.
How do you get the highest quality that you can get, distributed as widely as you can, as cost effectively as you can, is really what I think of as the nexus of the challenge there.
Our children are our future. And what we do as a state today will determine who we are as a state tomorrow. Studies show that students who receive a high-quality early childhood education are more likely to graduate high school, be employed, own a home.
They'll successfully complete a 2-year, 4-year degree, go on into graduate school, do well, and will compete against the world and win, but also be good citizens of the world.
Every successful state has to have a workforce that passes through the schoolhouse door. That's where it begins. And it begins really in that child care center. We've got to start building a workforce at about 6 weeks with that child.
The first years of life are really the critical initial piece of the talent pipeline.
Every child is born with about the same number of brain cells, but what's important is how those brain cells develop.
If you go into a really successful daycare, it doesn't look like a classroom. Children are on the floor, they're playing games, they're working in small groups, learning a language and skills.
Children need lots of experiences to flourish, develop their social skills, regulating their emotions, and learning how to negotiate. It doesn't happen by accident.
Why wouldn't we want to exploit this period to say, let's put our resources here and get them to a place where when they walk into kindergarten or first grade, they are ready to be successful.
Economic development can't survive without strong education. So our point of view has really been centered around education is economic development from a practical sense.
For every 10 children in the U.S., 6 have access to some early education before kindergarten. Only 2 of those 6 are in a setting that we would consider high quality.
You've got to start from a premise is it's our responsibility. If that child is failing in child care, in early childhood learning, in kindergarten, it's our fault. We're not doing something right.
I don't think as a country we can afford to lose one mind. We've been willing to do that, but we can't afford to do that.
Part of what we're losing in our high-paced society is the ability to actually connect with one another. I actually think of that as probably being one of the biggest benefits of early childhood education is the social and emotional development and growth.
We can take someone out of high school and through our community college program, they can learn how to weld, they can learn how to make an automobile, but to teach them to work well with others, to communicate issues, to problem solve. Those are the skills that we must need, and we believe, those begin in childcare.
For decades, we have been relying on K-12 to level the playing field and to ensure that every child born in America has an equal opportunity to succeed. In our single-minded focus on fixing the K-12 schools, we've been missing something very important, which is the critical importance of the earliest years before kids even get to school.
Now we've discovered a secret sauce, something that if we do it right, will help us be successful in every other way. But this is the key.
Early childhood programs are particularly well positioned to help whole families move ahead, to help children and their parents move ahead at the same time.
Now we've got a whole new generation of moms that are becoming professionals, leaders in their community, and what do they expect their children to do? The same thing. So there's an anticipation of success for that child rather than a lack of hope.
We will inherit what we invest in today. And so if we're looking for a brighter, stronger, more adaptable, ever-learning workforce, we've got to start to develop that and make investments in that.
I'm a big believer in that early childhood education is completely nonpartisan.
Politically, we ought to get together and say, no more of that.
If we don't make an investment in birth to 5, we're going to get behind and we're going to lose being the greatest nation in the world.
It's got to be done at the state level, mainly. Some federal funds are needed for it. And it's got to be done at the community level. And we can all work as citizens and as neighbors to do it.
As a governor particularly, you can help do some remarkable things. A lot of new governors will be coming in, and I hope that each one of them want to be the early childhood learning governor.
I'm hopeful because we are entering a new chapter. There's so much interest and there is so much commitment from everybody.
We ought to put our children first in America. It's the morally right thing to do, by the way, but it's also the smart thing to do economically.